Hey guys, I want you all to join me today while I make some lemon tea cake. It is another recipe from my school. Again, I haven't made it in a very long time, but it is actually a really easy recipe. It's essentially just cake in a loaf pan, and then you put a flavored syrup into it after it's done baking, and it helps soak up all that moisture in it. It's really nice and moist. And you can also add a simple glaze on top. Okay, so we are going to be making 3 loaves. I have my loaves sprayed already, and I have half of my stuff already measured out. This is my recipe, but this recipe makes 8 loaves, so I actually have it rewritten into a smaller scale for just the 3. And I got my butter. I got 6 ounces here. Get that in there. And my sugar here. Just gonna weigh it onto the scale. So I need almost 16 ounces of sugar, which is almost a pound. We're going to cream this until it's really nice and light. Okay, so our butter and sugar. I'm going to put it on our mixer and get it all nice and creamed and light and fluffy. And then while that's going, I'm going to measure out my flour and baking powder and salt, and I'm going to put those in a bowl together while that's mixing. Now we got our flour. This is 15.75 ounces of pastry flour, to be specific, and 3.3 tablespoons of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to just whisk these together. So I'm whisking this together so I don't have to sift them together, because it's almost kind of like doing the same thing, and pastry flour doesn't clump super bad. So you just want this pretty broken up. Okay, so that is nicely mixed together, and I'm going to set that aside for the moment. And we're going to scrape down our bowl. Now this butter was soft when I started mixing it. And 6 ounces of butter is about a stick and a half. 1 stick of butter is 4 ounces approximately, as long as you scrape the wrapper. It's still not quite creamy enough. Like I said, it's basically like a cake in loaf form, so we want it to be really nice and light, because that's going to help incorporate the air into it to help it be nice and fluffy. I scaled out sugar for our syrup that is going to go on the loaves after they're out of the oven. And I have 9 ounces here, and then I'm going to weigh out the lemon juice I'm making for it, because it's pretty much just going to be a lemon simple syrup that's going to go inside of here. And I need 4.5 ounces of lemon juice as well. And I'm going to scrape down our bowl one more time and then let it keep mixing. It is looking much better now, much lighter. Nice and like light and fluffy. Okay, I have my 4.5 ounces. I had a little video camera struggles. But I got my stuff here, and this has been creaming for a while. Get the lemon juice off my counter. Okay. Oh yeah, that's late. Scrape this down, and then we are going to add our eggs. So we have, we have 9 ounces of eggs that we're going to add into this. And I have already mixed my eggs together, and I'm going to add this in while it's mixing. Scrape it again. I get those eggs really nicely incorporated into our butter sugar mixture. Just likes to get attached to the bottom. Have our eggs incorporated into a mixer. Turn this a little bit so hopefully you can see that a little better. Now I'm going to add in our milk. We have another 9 ounces of milk here. Scratch that. We're going to go in between our milk and our dry goods in here. So I'm going to add about 1/3 of our milk, and then I'll add 1/3 of our dry mixture, and then go back and forth until it's all incorporated in. Silly me, forgot to add in the lemon zest. I I have, how much do I have? About 2¼ lemons worth of zest right here. Probably a little bit more, probably more like 2½. But my lemons were kind of small, so I kind of just did like a rough zest on my last lemon. No big deal. I was supposed to add it in with the butter and the sugar, but it will incorporate just fine here. I have a nice looking batter here. It's pretty thick batter. So I'm just gonna scrape this off my paddle real nice and scrape the bottom and give it a good like hand mix with my spatula. Just make sure that we got everything off the bottom and it's nice and well incorporated. And then I have my 3 loaf pans that I'll grab and we'll get them weighed in our pans. Each one should be about 1 pound, 12 ounces. Now you can make small loaves out of this, and those are about 6 ounces if you want to make like little cute tiny ones. Just sprayed it with some nonstick spray. I'm gonna get these weighed out at the 28 and then I'm gonna divvy up whatever is left in my bowl in between them. Just give this a shake just to help even it out. I think my recipe is a little off because I'm only getting 2 large loaves out of this instead of 3. So it's fine though. I can always make another one later, but I guess that has been a while since I've made this recipe. And my loaf pans are going to be a little different than the ones that we had at school. So it goes about halfway up our loaf pans. Okay, so I have my oven set to about 350. Depending on your oven, you might need to bake it at 375. And this will bake for about 40 minutes or until, it's done. So like a toothpick will come out clean. You won't have a bunch of crumbs and stuff on it. And then we're gonna pull that out and and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now I'm gonna start my syrup that actually needs more time. I just checked it. I'm gonna give those 5 more minutes while we work on this. So I got my sugar and my lemon juice here. I'm gonna turn my stove on high. So we're just gonna heat this up until the sugar is nice and melted. And when our cakes come out, we're gonna let them cool just a little bit. And then we're gonna poke some holes on the top and slowly pour this syrup over both of them. Just gonna separate it in half and add those in. And our cakes are almost done, so when those are done, I will show you what they look like. They get pretty brown on top, but they get that nice, you know, crack down the middle, like very traditional loaf look when it comes to a lemon tea cake or a lemon pound cake. Sugar is just about dissolved. I'm gonna heat this up just a little bit longer. We don't want to like boil this necessarily, we just want the sugar to dissolve. Okay, so our sugar is nice and dissolved. Like I said, we don't really need to boil that. I did have it on high just to make sure it was nice and melty. So we can turn that off. And then we are gonna come back when we pull the cakes out. Okay, our timer just went off, so we're gonna check our cakes and see how they're doing. Okay, they look nice and firm. Got some toothpicks. But yeah, those are still pretty liquidy. See that? So we don't want that. So I'm gonna give these probably, well, that's still pretty liquidy, so I'll probably give them another like 10 minutes. Okay, our timer just went off, and we're gonna check our loaves here. Ooh, these are getting pretty dark on top, so I hope these are done. Pretty sure they are. Yeah, those are done. Okay, I'm gonna let these cool just a smidge, and then I'm gonna poke them a bunch in the top with a toothpick, and then we're gonna pour our syrup over both of them. Okay, so I poked holes in my lemon loaves, and now I'm gonna dump half the syrup in both of these. And we're gonna try and do it carefully without making a giant mess. Now these loaves are still warm. I did put them on a wire rack so the bottom can cool down a little bit. And all this syrup is going to get soaked in. So don't worry if it looks like a syrupy mess, because it's just going to slowly sink in. And yeah, it's going to soak up all that moisture and become really nice and soft. And yeah, and then they're basically done at that point. You can add some extra glaze on top if you mix a little bit of water or a little bit of lemon juice with some powdered sugar. And yeah, you can adjust the thickness by how much liquid you add to it, and then you can just drizzle it over top. So yeah, so the more liquid you add to your powdered sugar, the more runny it becomes. So if you like nice thick icing on it, then yeah, you just add a little bit. As you can see, all the liquid has been absorbed into it. And now I'm gonna
blooper reel.
You just see in the corner Desmond just
I definitely blooper.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're gonna unband this guy and just loosen up the edges a little bit. Don't mind my child in the background, because he's a little crazy sometimes. So these are a little darker than I would like. I probably could have covered them up with some foil or move the rack down in the oven, but they should taste fine.
What'd you do? Let me see your bottom.
I sprayed the potatoes out of this pan! I am very upset. So clearly, I need to get some different spray, because I've been having some serious issues with my stuff not coming out of pans.
Just spray some pan down.
Okay, that one came out better. That one came out better. Okay, so we have one successful lemon cake. But yeah, this is very nice and moist inside. Yeah, this one, I'll give it to my family because it's intact. And yeah. Okay, so here we have a slice of our lemon cake. See, it's nice and light on the inside. I took a little nibble of some of the stuff that broke off on the other one, which was a sad day. But it tastes delicious, so that's good. It's nice and moist, and yeah, it has a really good crumb to it. What? This isn't cookie, it's lemon. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hi. Anyways, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.